Good morning everyone. Welcome to EPG Pathshala. Today we are going to cover internal security management module on countermeasures and developmental activities in the border areas. I am Vijay Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Sardar Patel University of Police Security and Criminal Justice. To begin with, let's understand the learning outcomes of this module. Firstly, to inform the learners about the characteristic of the border areas. Secondly, to make the learners understand the problems pertaining to the border areas. Thirdly, to make the learners understand the need of the developmental activities in the border areas. And finally, to familiarize the readers about the key elements of India's counter measures and developmental activities in these areas. Now, the introduction part. India is having one of the largest international border in the world. The total length of India's land border runs to 15,106.7 kilometers. We share our largest border with Bangladesh, and we share our smallest border with Afghanistan. Now, now coming to the different borders and their respective length, which is as follows. With Bangladesh, we are having a total border of 4,096.7 kilometers. With China, we are having a total border of 3,488 kilometers. With Pakistan, our total international land borders runs to 3,323 kilometers. With Nepal, we are having a total international border of the length 1,751 kilometers. With Myanmar, we are having a total border length of 1,643 kilometers. With Bhutan, we are having a border of 699 kilometers. And lastly, with Afghanistan, we are having a total land border of 106 kilometers. And this total turns out to be 15,106.7 kilometers. Apart from that, India is having a coastline of 7,516.6 kilometers. Now coming to the next part of the module, which is the reasons for underdevelopment of the border areas. Firstly, the main reason of the underdevelopment of the border area is the difficult terrains, which includes jungles, passes, deserts, riverine, hills in these areas. If we see our western border, we are having a difficult terrain in terms of deserts in Rajasthan. If we go upward north, we are having hills, we are having jungles. Same is the story to our eastern borders. Now, because of the huge geographical diversity, these borders are porous in nature. Apart from that, these borders are having extreme weather conditions. These extreme condition includes a lot of heat and lot of cold temperature if we compare the contrast between the Rajasthan and the Kashmir. The other reason for underdevelopment of these areas is inbuilt incapacities in these areas in terms of lack of human capital. Then the next point is the inefficiency of the administration in these areas. Then the continuous disturbance across the border, especially indiscriminate firing and shelling, chiefly from the Pakistan side. Now the next point of the underdevelopment is the mass immigration across the border into the Indian territory, which is further putting the stress on the resources in these border areas. Then the disturbed and the unfriendly neighbors, then a strong ethnic relationship across the border, which plays a major role of these areas. Areas are being labeled as safe havens for the anti-Indian elements. These safe havens provide the man and material support to these anti-Indian organizations, which includes ULFA, KLO, which act as a strong network of the operative of the organized crimes. Another point is the separatist movement in these various parts of the Indian border areas. Now coming to the countermeasures and the developmental activities in these border areas. Firstly, the point of concentration is the infrastructure development. Government is allocating resources in order to develop the infrastructure in these areas, which includes to provide the seamless connectivity, to provide a network of border roads, fencing, floodlights, etc. Then comes the provision of the basic services, accessibility to education, health and housing through budgetary support and special grants. The other point is the trust building. trust building is of major concern, because resource allocation is important, but until and unless there is a trust among the people with the other part of the nation, these border areas will be left behind in the race. So in order to trust building, the confidence building measures are being taken in form of the security forces of different borders areas are having different programs for the people staying or living in these border areas, improving the standard of living of the people living in these areas. Then the promotion of the border markets, which are also known as border hearts, development of integrated checkpost, which is basically to facilitate the movement of goods and services through these border areas. Then skill development programs or vocational training programs. Then mainstreaming of the local population through the balanced regional development, better allocation of the resources to these areas, equality of opportunities to the people of these areas. Then the special scholarships and reservations in the best Indian universities and institutions of these areas. Then the higher budgetary allocation to the security forces, special provision are being made in order to modernize the concerned security forces by providing them the latest weaponry, communication devices and better infrastructure. Now the steps which are being taken in order to secure and develop the border areas. These steps includes provision for better training facilities to the security forces in these areas, which includes training the security forces for all the eventualities and to minimize the collateral damage to the bare minimum level. The next strategy is improving the intelligence gathering architecture of our nation. It includes improving our intelligence gathering collection network and analysis prowess. Secondly, the actionable intelligence information must be communicated to the security forces on the timely and adequately basis. This is of the prime importance. If the information is not given timely and in a substantial form, then it will be very difficult to stop those elements which are planning to have disturbance in India. Then the deployment of the specialized forces along India's international border in order to fix the accountability and to ensure better utilization of the resources and proper guarding of the international border. For example, we are having the different specialized forces in order to guard the different tracts of India's international border with different countries. For example, BSF, it is guarding Indo-Pakistan border and Indo-Bangladesh border. Then comes the Indo-Tibetan police, that is ITBP, which is guarding Indo-China border. Then we are having Sashastra Seema Bal, which is guarding Indo-Nepal border, and also the Indo-Bhutan border. Then finally the Assam Rifles, which is guarding the Indo-Myanmar border. One of the main reasons to having a specialized forces is to ensure that these borders are secured properly and adequately, as these specialized forces are designed and trained in according to the eventualities and the special conditions lying in these areas. The next strategy is the Scheduled Tribe Recognition of the Forest Bill 2006. This bill is being passed in order to address the genuine grievances of the local population and to address the demands of the people living in the tribal areas. Then comes the strategy of interstate and international joint coordination among the security forces. This is being done for the seamless communication and the flawless coordination between the forces of our neighboring countries and India, then strengthening of the legal framework in order to inspire the trust among the local population. Until and unless people are having the trust in the criminal justice system, then it will be very difficult for them to abide by the rules and regulation of our country and having the belief in the Constitution of India. This is being done in order to reinforce the people's belief in the ideals of our constitution and to stop them from opting for the guns in order to address their issues. Then comes the judicious application of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, that is also known as AFSA. The principle of maximum possible restraint shall be exercised by the security forces while operating in the concerned states where the AFSA is in force. Then the preference to the local population in the recruitment of the security forces. One of the main reasons to have the local population in guarding the different tracts of the international border is that to positively and productively engage the local youth population in these security forces and to leverage upon their knowledge of the local socio-cultural aspect and the local topology for the effective and the efficient performance of the security forces. Now coming to the next part of the module, which is the program to secure and develop the border areas. The first program which worth mentioning is Border Area Development Program. The program was started in the year 1986-87, which are having the following prime aims. Firstly, to have a balanced regional development in Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, the areas which are bordering with the Pakistan. Gradually, the scope of the program was extended to cover the Indian state on the eastern border with Bangladesh. The whole idea is to have a balanced regional development and in order to ensure that the people of these areas are not left behind in terms of the development with the rest of the India. This program is implemented by the Department of Border Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India through the state governments. Now coming to the major goals of Border Area Development Program. Firstly, to meet the special need of the local population. Secondly, the development of the infrastructure in these areas. Thirdly, mainstreaming the border areas in order to take them in at par with the rest of the country. Then comes the sense of safety and security in these areas. Now coming to the schemes, projects taken under the Border Area Development Program. In the realm of education field, which includes school building, development of play fields, construction of hostels and dormitories, construction of public libraries and reading rooms. In the field of health, the development and building of infrastructure of primary health care and secondary health care centers. Then provision of medical equipments, which includes X-ray, ECG machines, equipment for dental clinic, pathological labs, etc. Setting up of the mobile dispensaries, ambulances, including telemedicine. In the field of agriculture and allied sectors, promotion and motivation to animal husbandry and dairy activities, sericulture, poultry farming, fishery, pigs, goats, sheep farming. Then boost to the farm forestry, horticulture, floriculture. Then drainage facility, water conservation programs. Now coming to the infrastructure, it includes construction and strengthening of approach roads, link roads, bridges, boost to the industries like handlooms, handicrafts, furniture making, food processing, provision of civic amenities like electricity, water, pathways, ropeways, footbridges, hanging bridges, public toilets. Now in the realm of the public sector, which includes the activities like construction of community centers, construction of Anganwadis, construction of cultural centers, community halls, construction of common shelters for the old and handicapped. Capacity building programs by way of vocational studies and training for youth and self-employment and skill upgradation. And now coming to the other realm which falls under the schemes and programs of Border Area Development Programs under the miscellaneous heading, which includes development of modern, which includes development of model villages in border areas, e-chopals, agri shops, mobile, media vans, market yards. Now coming to the next part of the module, which is the development of the national highways in the northeastern region. There are two major schemes which are being implemented in northeastern region in order to develop the national highways. That is the National Highway Development Program, that is NHDP Phase 3, and Special Accelerated Road Development Program Northeast, that is SAPRD-NE. Now the budgetary allocation of 10% of the total allocation is earmarked for the northeast region. Coming to the next part, that is the Border Road Organization, that is BRO. The organization was established in the year 1960. The organization undertakes the road projects assigned to it by both central and state government. That is, it covers both the projects which are given by either by the state government or the central government. The scope of the activity of BRO also covers road networks development in the interior states like Bihar, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh. So it is not the scope of BRO is not confined to the border areas only. It do make the roads in the interior states of Bihar, Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh. Two of the major project are Tushkar and Bekon in the east and west India respectively. Now coming to the final part of this module, that is the conclusion of this module. The conclusion includes, firstly, the border areas, especially the northeast region, are laggard in the process of the development. We need to appreciate the fact that these regions doesn't have the basic these region lacks the basic amenities and facilities, because of which they are laggarding. Owing to the difficult geographical terrain, different development projects are very difficult to implement in these areas. Secondly, we should also aim for the poverty alleviation through the provision of basic services and improve the accessibility. Until unless we provide them the livelihood opportunities and provide them a high standard of living, these people are not going to become the part of the mainstream development process. So our aim should be to reduce the poverty in these areas, which is possible by providing them fruitful employment opportunities. This will also help in non-diversion of these people in different anti-national activities. As due to poverty, it is although it is not a very conclusive fact, but it is seen that the people in this region which are not having the ample opportunities to have a better standard of living and to have a good employment opportunities, find themselves indulge into anti-national activities. The accelerated growth and development of the infrastructure is also required, as due to the acceleration of growth of the growth and development, better employment opportunities will be provided to the people living in these areas due to the forces of acceleration and multiplier which plays their part and which gives a much higher return than the initial investment. The critical factor is the proper and the timely utilization of the allocated fund. Yes, it is very important to allocate the funds to these areas, but it is also seen that mere allocation of the fund is not going to solve the problem of development in these areas. In order to ensure that the fruits of the development reaches to all the person living in these areas, we have to ensure that not only a better and higher allocation of these areas, but also the proper and timely utilization of the allocated funds, for which we need to build the capacity in these areas and to improve the absorption capacity of these areas. Because by pumping the money, which might go down the drain if it is not being utilized on timely basis and appropriately, which is not, if it is not being used on timely basis and appropriately. Now we have to also understand the region is infested with regional rivalries and parochial nationalism. As we know that there is a strong ethnic and cultural connectivities between the people living in these border areas with the people living on the other side of the border, which is the case especially in the northeast, where the tribal affinities are very strong, and due to which they don't have the concern for the international border. For them, the ethnic ties are far more important, and their cultural way of living is far more important than just a line drawn on the map. Because of the parochial nationalism in these areas, it is there have been the instances of multiple insurgencies and separatist movement. Finally, therefore, we have to appreciate the fact that India's policy of Look East policy is majorly a function of development and peace and security of the northeast region. Until and unless we are not able to secure our northeastern region and to bring them with the rest of the country in terms of the development, we cannot expect to have a successful Look East policy, because as it is said that our gateway to the East Asia goes through our northeast region. Therefore, we have to ensure the development, peace and security of the northeast region, which is possible through better allocation of the resources, better utilization of the resources, better guarding of our borders, better surveillance and monitoring mechanism in these areas. Secondly, we have to the paternalistic attitude need to give way for the partnership spirit. It is seen that we are behaving more as a parent and more as a big brother for these areas. It is the concern which is raised by the people living in these areas and the political dispensation in these areas. According to them, their plans and programs and schemes which are relevant to these areas are not getting the kind of the appreciation which should be which it should get. Because for they have also raised their concern that the central the government at the center is just pumping in the more money without knowing the main root cause of the problem and the relevancy of such pumping of the money in different schemes. Therefore, it should give way for the partnership spirit, whereby the people living in these areas and the political dispensation of these area should work in tandem with the central government, through which we can ensure better, not only the better allocation of the resources, but the relevancy of the scheme and the projects in these areas, which will definitely bring a relevant development and also a better standard of living for these areas. Then the political leadership need to be far more generous and considerate. Our political leadership at the center need to understand the special problems and the special issues pertaining to these areas. As it is being emphasized that not mere allocation of the fund is going to solve the problem. We need to have the partnership spirit. The programs which are being devised or the schemes which are being thought of should be undertaken by bringing them by bringing the people from these areas on the table for the discussion, design and final implementation of the schemes in these areas. This will definitely result into better outcome and the better utilization of the resources. That is we need to treat them as an equal partner in the process of the development. Apart from the physical infrastructure, we need to concentrate on the social infrastructure, which includes better education, better health facilities and other creational activities, which is possible through the construction of school buildings, through the construction of hospitals, through the construction of community centers. Finally, the North-Eastern Council need to be rejuvenated and need to be made far more relevant, which is possible through better restructuring in order to make it far more relevant in the present context and in order to meet the aspiration of the people living in these areas. It is a very good opportunity, as the North-Eastern Council is having the knowledge about these areas, and by the partnership spirit we can ensure that these the true aspiration of the people living in these areas are being met and a partnership spirit is being given the boost. So finally, thank you for your time, and I hope that you all would have learned something from this module. Thank you everyone.